what's weird about the coming global change?
I got a premonition,
Suddenly.
1986, we're headed for a big change.
Yeah, we're definitely headed for a big change. I agree with that. What astounds me is that something of this world-changing magnitude is sort of, I don't know, not mentioned. Barely mentioned. It's a gigantic story. Modern America, right? First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art. Back in California.
Hey, Zach.
How are you doing tonight?
Fine, what's up?
Well, I'm calling for my friend Natasha in Austin, Texas.
Oh,
She had a question she'd like to ask you.
yes?
Do you think that in your lifetime, the question of aliens will be
Answer?
answered common knowledge?
Let me think about that. Do I believe that? I wouldn't make a prediction. I guess all I could say is I hope so. I would like that question answered in my lifetime. I would love that. Wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I think it's really building. The undercurrents in the media, the television, it's really in our collective unconscious now, I think.
That's true. So I don't know anything else to say. I'm sorry, that's it. I can't give you a prediction. I'm not a prophet. Would I like it? I would love it. I really would love it. If we could contact, even if we could just contact another civilization, forget the spaceships landing for a moment and aliens here, whether that is or is not. Simply contact with another civilization would be really cool to know about while I'm still on this earth. How do you feel about that? Even if it was light years away, Jodie Foster light received, the radio telescopes suddenly begin getting a signal from somewhere out there. Wildcard line or on the air? Yes, on the air now. Turn the radio off first. Okay, fire away.
I was just wondering, you keep lately been mentioning about the pictures from Mars,
Yeah.
and you're not very impressed with what we've been seeing.
No, I'm trying to be honest. What I see so far are rocks.
I was just wondering, what did you expect to see? Like what?
Well, I guess I expected to see some rocks mostly, and I'm not disappointed. They're nice rocks. Even cliffs, and areas that show possible weather and all that kind, and that means water. So I'm not disappointed in the rocks.
What you're seeing on the soil out there, doesn't that look like kind of clay?
Really weird. It's totally weird. Could water be that close to the surface with that kind of texture? I don't know.
You think so with that texture?
The whole thing is fascinating, sir.
Very much so.
But they're rocks.
They're rocks, yeah.
Thank you very much, and take care. I just don't see anything else yet. Attributed generally to my only two-dimensional vision. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
All right.
Yes.
Are we on the air?
Yes. When I say I take on-screen callers, baby, you're on the air. That's how it works.
That's right. Yes, so I was just calling, first of all, to mention a little bit about, let's see, it was Sean Morton you had on the first hour last night, right?
No, it was Whitley Strieber. Sean was on the balance of the show.
Oh, sorry.
In the second half, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I had it back. Anyway, I recall him saying that he predicted that the Panthers would win the Super Bowl by 3 points.
20 to 17.
20 to 17. Almost got the point spread right, but unfortunately it was a reverse outcome. And so I'm not certain what I think of his predictive abilities.
All right, how do you do that? Hold on a minute, all right?
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back. After what? U.S. space as possible battleground. That's right. In other words, we're getting ready to fight battles in space. You might want to read about that. Came from Yahoo News. Of course, there's... Okay, where were we? I believe this caller was just suggesting that Sean had flubbed the Super Bowl. But even though he flubbed the score, and so you have no faith in what he says. Is that about it?
Well, I guess somebody could have lost a fair bundle if they'd done with his prediction, but
Well, they could have. They certainly could have.
yeah, but the only time I recall hearing an advanced prediction of his was just before Bush invaded Iraq, and he was saying that he thought that when that happened, that the North Koreans would do something like come across the DMZ.
Was that Sean or was that someone else? That could have been Ed Dames.
It could have been that day, although I think perhaps Sean had something similar to say, but as my wife's name calls
So how much did you bet on the game?
oh, I didn't get
You
it.
didn't bet anything.
No, actually, I'm not even a football fan, so
You're not.
I watched bits and pieces of it, because there wasn't much else on. And I missed the unveiling of Janet's,
Yes.
but I
You missed that altogether?
I would think I was on the phone.
I really need an opinion, and that's not going to be you, I guess, huh?
No, I guess not. But, well, to me, that wouldn't be upsetting. But, although I can think of other breaths that I might like to see other than jazz. But, anyway, that aside, I also wanted to, something about what you and Whitney were talking about last night. And you are absolutely right. There has been, like, zero coverage. I'm calling from Toronto, by the way. I mean, we have a guy up here who does a news, like, one of the original founders of Greenpeace.
Yes.
His name's Bob Hunter, and he does a 3-minute bit on the morning news where he kind of like highlights some of the various stories that are in the daily newspapers.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 major daily newspapers in Toronto.
Yeah.
And he hasn't mentioned anything about this, which means that there's been absolutely no coverage in any of the papers. And
Well, I mean, it was Fortune, of course, and the Independent in London, but yeah, God, this is incredible. I'm trying to keep a good humor about it all. It'll probably dawn on, maybe it'll dawn on people, I don't know.
yeah, when there's like glaciers coming down the Thames River or something, maybe then they might snap out of it and realize, hey, we got a problem.
It's going to be interesting to watch, sir. All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, take care. Yeah, the whole thing is, I'm trying, it's protective in a way. Otherwise, I would get angry at the lack of coverage. But I mean, a story this big by people who don't, with so much authority and science behind them, to be ignored is that's just absolutely, totally amazing to me. Wesley Rock, do the wild thing at 775-727-1295. No, hold on. We gotta start fresh here, buddy. We're not allowed to give last names on the air, so let's just take your first name on is Tony, right?
Right.
All right, Tony.
I'm listening to KSI.
Right?
They still have you on, thank God. Anyway, you were earlier talking about, there was a gentleman on talking about ways to clean the air. Is that not right?
No, that is correct, yes.
And I wrote you a couple of times about a technology I found out about. It was invented by a former physics professor in Pasadena in the 70s. It's called energy powers. And basically what it is it's a large air scrubber, and it has some pretty big dimensions to be efficient. So it has to be pretty tall, 3,000 feet tall.
Well, we could make gigantic, air scrubbers. That could be done. I'm not sure you could do it on a scale that would make any difference, but I'd be sure interested in hearing about it.
yeah, I really hope to get Dr. Mel Truitt on. He's a former Livermore physicist. He's got 19 new current patents on fabric skin energy powers. And really what it does is it creates a downdraft that cleans the air. It also creates a wind at the bottom. So you ring the bottom of this tower with wind turbines that run all the time. And
That's really fascinating, and I'll tell you what, that our government and our highest officials are eventually going to have to turn to people like that and ideas like that. They're going to be forced to. If you simply read the right stories, like the ones that I've been presenting you with, that tell you what's coming, then you realize that efforts of that magnitude are going to have to be looked at along with a lot of other things. When people wake up and realize what's going on. First time caller line, you are on air. Hello.
Hi there. It's just from Venice, California, 640 KFI.
Yes.
We have a big problem here.
Well, I know all about it, of course, as you well know. I've made my statement about it.
Well, if I'd like to go forward, and I may, with your kind permission, share this with you and your audience. FYI, KFI 640 Los Angeles has in fact moved Mr. Nori Slot, the gracious, gentle, and most significantly informative,
From 10 to 1.
from 10 p.m. to all day 1 a.m. where we're on the pillow, you know, if it doesn't 8 or 9, well, probably gee, we're deprived. And I mean that in the most serious fashion.
Well, and they made the most serious mistake, as I said.
Well, okay, so here we go. I understand that I've reviewed my sources and I'm duly pissed. Thank you. Here's what I say that
I'm listening.
for all of you care about us, regarding the region, family in Los Angeles, they need your support too.
Speak up, bitch!
I would like to provide, in fact, in this case, an address, as in, per instruction. KFI is not receiving phone calls or emails regarding this matter.
Well, they are, because I've seen the responses. So yes.
Oh, okay, so if I may go forward.
No, you may not give out an address on there.
Oh.
No, I can't let you know, because without having arranged it first, and I'm going to lines, and so I can't arrange that kind of thing. We can't check it out, and it could be something other than, even though I'm sure you would never give us something that would lead people in the wrong way. I know you wouldn't, because your heart is no doubt good.
Yeah.
And your mission a great one. But I can't let you do it. But I will make some comments for you, alright? It was a terrible programming error. Look, Toast was number one in every single every age group. Listen, it was number one, right across the board. And I have nothing against John Ziegler. He was not in that kind of fun. He's a great guy. But, you know, he's doing what's on the radio all day long, everywhere else. And it's just more of the same. And by 10 o'clock at night, people don't want that. People would like something a little different, which is the reason this program has done as well as it has done. It is the material that we deal with. It's unlike anything else you can hear about on any other radio program, anywhere, anytime. And it's done in a very different way, and that's why it's number one. And a lot of people are really upset. I've had thousands of emails. John says he hasn't had one. Now, that's a perhaps a bit disingenuous since I have copies of many that have been, sent to him, so that's certainly not true. And, in the end, not to worry, because the people will tell the story. In the end, what happens when the audience measurement is done will tell the story better than any other thing that could be done. In fact, I offered to engage the program director of KFI in a bit of a wager, one of her paychecks against one of mine, regarding the results of the next measurement that I just spoke about, and she declined to participate in that. Wildcard Line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes, hi.
Yes, I'm Adam calling from River Falls, Wisconsin.
Welcome to
On KFCT.
Happy to
I
have
have
you.
some questions regarding your ice age.
My ice age. On my ice age. This, sir,
Well, not your ice age.
would be our ice age.
Our ice age, right. First off, I remember hearing a book about this maybe 5 years ago about possibly the near future in ice age. And I was in a geology class at the time, and I'd asked the professor about this. He told me that there was no way it's possible that an ice age could come out this quick. But that was him. Now I'm listening to your stuff.
Okay, well now see, there is this thing about woolly mammoths. Woolly mammoths are big, hairy beasts, Really, just beyond anything that even would play in the NFL. They're big beasts. And they were found frozen in place with little green things, buttercups in their frozen, stiff mouths. You see now, that meant that these monsters were in an instant frozen, and remain frozen, I might add, for thousands and thousands of years. That would appear to be irrefutable proof that the climate can change that way. Just ask the mammoth.
Right. I also have one more question.
Yes.
Yeah, alright. This, along with all the climate changes and stuff,
Yes.
and the freezing and all that,
Yes.
I was just wondering if in any way possible this could be connected to climate X.
Well, that wouldn't be my first leap of conclusion. Planet X, which of course has not yet arrived. You continually, if you watch your email, will see sightings of it claimed at various observatories at certain times, sometimes in Australia, but no Planet X yet. So I wouldn't jump to that as my first conclusion. Eastern Rockies, you're on there. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir. I'm Jack from Dallas.
Yes, hi, Jack.
How you doing?
Fine.
I listen to you whenever I get a chance. I finally got retired, so I can keep it on now. My grandfather was in the Navy in the Pentagon for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
When he died, he gave me a briefcase.
Oh,
And I opened it up, and the thing was full of papers.
what kind of papers?
It took me 3 days to read them.
Yeah.
It was all stuff the government's never told us.
About?
Well, you talking about the Ice Age, about, out in outer space and all that, and aliens.
And it's all about that?
Yeah.
And what have you done with this valuable briefcase full of stuff?
Well, a friend of mine's a major in the Navy.
Yes.
He said, man, you better keep your mouth shut.
And so, here you are on a national talk radio program.
I know that. I didn't say the right state either.
Oh, I see. You lied about the state.
Yes.
I didn't think you sounded like proper Texan me.
I'm from West Virginia. I've been through there, but I wouldn't live there.
So what are you going to do with this little jewel of briefcase of documents? Are you going to whisk them off to me?
Well, I was talking to this colonel the other day.
I don't think that was a yes. Yes.
What?
And what did the colonel say?
He said, we've asked some questions. You said, what are you going to do with them?
Right. An obvious question.
I asked him, I said, what do you think I'll do with them? He said, I'd put them out to the public. I said, man, they'll like to shoot me. And he said, well, there's a possibility. I said, I ain't dying for that BS.
I see. So rather than die, you're going to sit on your briefcase. All right, well, if you change your mind, call or email me. In the meantime, I guess you're sitting on it, buddy. West of the Rockies, you're on there.
Hey, Art Bell,
Hey, yes,
one of my favorite people in the whole wide world.
thank you.
I am kind of hyperventilating. I get to talk to you. So I have, one of you pick your story. Let's see. Aliens in the popsicle. A cat that was a soul, or energy, superpower.
You mean I get to choose those topics?
Yeah.
Let's get the cat. What about the cat?
Okay, my sister was 4 years older than I, and she went off to college, 4 hours away from where I lived.
Yes,
She found a homeless cat when she was 5 years old.
yes.
It was 14 when she was in college, or whatever. Anyway, the cat was named Caesar, looks just like your cat, excuse me.
Yeah.
And anyway, Caesar, he kind of came home with his old job, pulled out, and he was just in such a bad shape that my dad went out and stopped him one. That's how you do it in the old days.
Popped him one.
Never mind, anyway. We put him out of his misery. Anyway, poor Caesar, And my sister called up the next morning and said, Mom, I dreamed Caesar died last night.
Yes.
Right? And that was the night that he came home and he, But my sister was away at college still.
That was the very night that Caesar got popped?
Yep.
That's a heartwarming story. Thank you for that. The night Caesar got popped. First time calling live on the air. Hello. Hi. Speak up good and loud because you're not too easy to hear.
Okay, I'm sorry. First, I just wanted to know if you've ever seen the movie Phantasm.
Yes, I have.
It doesn't
I was unable to stick with the entire thing. It got a little,
corny.
well, yeah. Yeah, Coin comes to mind.
Yeah, well, the acting.
But, the first deaths were really cool.
Yeah,
But after that, I don't know.
it's what everybody. Everyone on these shows is.
Like when the thing, wasn't it where the thing hit his head and then bored its way in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. But then, I don't know, you can only take so much of the head.
Oh, so you didn't get to watch the end of the movie?
No, I don't believe I did. But stick with it.
That's a shame. The reason I say it, or mention it, I just saw it again I saw it when I first came out, just
How many times have you seen it, sir?
twice.
Twice.
Yeah, once back in 1980 or so, and tonight.
Watching that more than twice could be hazardous to your health.
Yeah.
Your mental health.
When people are there on the show and they're looking at the aliens and whatnot, that's based on a true story.
Oh, what is it?
That movie Phantasm.
Oh,
Like, if you were to watch the end of the movie, it'll all fit into place.
all right, well,
I mean, I can tell you that it would be kind of...
well, there's never until the end of movies, I don't know what's up to. But if you really mean it, then somehow I will force myself to return and get a copy of Phantasm and skip out to the end.
Absolutely, yeah, just like say the last half an hour.
So I can see whether all the apparent mindless brain-boring.
Oh, there's one person that dies after that, I believe. Maybe two. The rest is, after that part, it's all about the story, and basically it tells us why and how and what. It has like a trick engine.
All right, I'll try and return to it and see if there's redeeming value at the very end. That's it. Yes, I did get me a little machine. It's got to board its way in. Awful. Absolutely awful. We're going to take... space that's going to just blow you away. Robert, welcome to the program.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
Glad to have you. You come to us from, what, New England or New York? Where?
Well, everyone who listens to me and knows anything about accents says, "Oh, you must be from Brooklyn."
Yes.
Well, that's where I lived most of my life. But I lived for the last 5, 6 years. I lived in Maryland. I was near the area.
Oh, you're in Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I do recall at best from the show prior that there were about, I don't know, 4 or 5 times when I went, what? We did what? Anyway, we are here talking, of course, on the first anniversary of the Columbia accident. And so that, I guess, is a good place to begin all of this. How much of an impact has that accident had with regard to what they're still doing? In other words, we're not yet flying again, which means they're still, what, dissecting, thinking, figuring out how not to have it happen again, what?
Well, you know, NASA had scheduled next flight, return to flight, to be September of this year.
Yes.
And just this week they pushed it back to October of this year. And there's real questions right now whether they can actually fix technical problems that were identified as the cause of the Columbia accident. In this case, the foam breaking off the external tank.
Yeah, okay, what are we up against? I mean, that is what happens. I think everybody's pretty clear on that it was the foam and all the rest of it.
Well, there are two components trying to fix it. One, they're trying to figure out some way to reduce the foam from breaking off, and from what I can gather, they pretty much don't think they can do that. It's almost impossible.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to reduce the problem. but I don't think they'll be able to eliminate it, and they recognize that. What they're trying to do now is approach the technical solution from several routes. One is, can they do repairs in orbit? And they're looking at a variety of different technical engineering designs for allowing an astronaut to do a spacewalk with equipment to either plug in a small hole or to maybe put an inflatable patch that would go inside and inflate, or even put an overlay, and they would actually use the kind of inflative material that was used in the Apollo program. It burns off, takes the heat away as it burns away, but that doesn't, it protects the spacecraft. They're still struggling with that.
Yes, and I
They haven't really solved it completely. They really have problems.
Robert, I have a question for you. Was there anybody that knew how much trouble Columbia was in before it began to re-enter?
There were engineers at NASA who were very worried about the problem.
How much had they learned?
They had seen similar issues earlier, and they were concerned. They had been raising this issue several times. This is a repeat of what happened with Challenger. What is it now? That was 1986. That's 18 years ago. It's hard to believe. This is really a repeat of the same story. You had managers who, that bureaucrat culture, the managers are running things, not the engineers. And so a person moves up the line of command. They started out as an engineer. They're now in the management position, and management concerns become the primary driving force of whatever is accomplished. So if an engineer says, look, we think there's an engineering problem, the management concerns take the force.
If they had full knowledge of what was going to happen.
Well, I wouldn't say full knowledge.
No, I didn't say that. No, listen. I said if. Even if they had full knowledge of the damage that had occurred to Columbia, could they have done anything about it?
Oh, I'll tell you that. No. And the orbit that Columbia was in, and that's one of the other things they're addressing with the shuttle program to try to avoid the Saxon occurring again, it is very unlikely they could. It's almost impossible they could have done it. Had they known, it was almost impossible, which is one of the reasons I think they took a nonchalant attitude towards it. They didn't, at that time, have any real solution to this. So what's the point of pursuing it very aggressively? That happened, we can't solve it.
Had there been communication between the spacecraft and ground about this potential problem?
Yes, there was some conversation, but it was downplayed. It was low key. They basically told the crew, we noticed there was an impact from some foam. We're checking into it, but we don't think it's a concern. We've asked their engineers. That's what they basically told the crew. And they left it at that. And they didn't really pursue it very aggressively. There were engineers trying to get the management people to pursue it, but they couldn't get those management people to do it because they had other things on their mind.
There was nothing in space that could have been utilized to try and get a picture of the shuttle.
Not really. I mean, you could have used, there could have been some satellite photos from military security stuff both on the ground and in space. It might have told them something, but then it might not have. They might have been able to get an answer. I forget which day of the mission, but early in the mission they saw the radar now shows that something moved away from the shuttle. And I want to say broke off because we don't really know. Something moved away from the shuttle, an object. And had they been worried about this, yes, they might have been able to take close-up pictures and maybe be able to identify that. But you got to understand that the nature of the Columbia mission itself was a science mission. It didn't have any capability for spacewalks. There wasn't really the suits or the equipment on board or the training to have done a spacewalk. And then on top of that, they didn't have any repair material on board to prepare. So it really was a doomed mission while it was in orbit. There's no doubt about that.
But they didn't know it.
No, they did not. They didn't really know it. There was worry by engineers. There were concerns that some engineers had in NASA, and they were trying to follow up those concerns because they were concerned. But those concerns weren't followed up, so no one knew. So when the shuttle started to come back into orbit, and they started to get the sensor readings that are indicating there is an anomaly, the people in Mission Control at the time really were not aware of the concerns the engineers had, and they just were responding to the data they were getting, and then suddenly the shuttle. They're cut off, and we all see the contrails breaking up. It falls apart.
How are we doing in the casualty and risk versus benefit category with our manned space program?
Well, see, this is one of my pet peeves, because as tragic as the Columbia accident was, I think we're doing spectacular for rocket science and space and exploration. We launched a little over 100 shuttle missions, and in that time we lost essentially 2% of those missions.
Right.
And that's, as we could say, we've lost 40% of our fleet. We built 5 shuttles, we lost 2, that's one way to look at it. But in actual launches, we've launched out to over 100 and lost about 2%. And I mentioned this on my last appearance, but I'll say it again. When the Clipper ship existed as the epitome of the sailing ship, 5,000 years of technology, on an average, they lost 5% of their best ships every year, and that was the best technology. The shuttle is a prototype, first prototype usable ship. It's the first spaceship that's ever been built that's even partly reusable. And for that reason, it's extremely experimental, and it's been incredibly successful in that respect. I was once asked in a lecture, isn't the International Space Station an accident waiting to happen? My response to that was yes.
It is.
Shuttle, so was the Soyuz, so was Mir, so was the Apollo.
Based on what? An accident?
It's dangerous exploration. That's the bottom line. And the astronauts know this. They accept the risk. They know what they're doing.
But the way you said that, you make me think there was something extraordinarily, obviously fatal about the space station. You're just saying they're all at risk. Of course,
Yeah,
they
it's
are.
an
Of course.
exploration.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm not saying, yes, I'm trying to include everything. They're all risky endeavors. The astronauts know this. They take that risk on because they recognize the benefits so far exceed the risk. And they're willing to sacrifice their lives for the benefit for themselves, for the nation, for the human.
Right away, a lot of the audience, I can hear them. They're throwing up their hands and they're saying, "What benefits, damn it? What benefits?" That's what you hear. So, what benefits, Robert?
Well, I'll tell you, the standard answer is, we get all these technological spin-offs, and that's true. But I don't make that argument as a first argument. I say, if you dream small dreams, you're a small person. You'll become that. You won't really grow. If you dream big dreams, you become greater than you are. That's my mantra. You have to think big, dream big, do great things if you do that.
Or you get great failure, but yeah, at least you went out and did.
That's right. You try. You have to try to do the best you can. I mean, otherwise, what are you? And on top of that, it's fun. It's exciting.
So in other words, your first argument is a human spirit argument, right? And it's not very non-trivial as far as I think that for a long time we needed goal and reason. And the space program gives that to us, unlike a lot of other things. So yeah, that time I agree.
I'll give you another example. The Soviet Union ended up to be basically a disaster. And it failed. It fell apart. But the one industry that came out of the Soviet Union that is respected worldwide and is the one great achievement that the Soviet Union brought to the world.
They make big rockets. Oh, they make big rockets.
And they make them well.
Yes.
People, they have taken the commercial market away from Boeing and Lockheed. They won that market because they made good. But it happened because in that respect they dreamt big and they went for the glory. They went for the golden ring and they got it. And I don't think when we did the same thing with Apollo, a lot of people complaining. They say, we love Apollo.
That was the people. But Robert, that was the people's gold ring. The communist gold ring, and of course, that's the one thing they did, and it's still there, sort of the remnants of it, but, they're not even keeping their missiles up to snuff. Their ICBMs and all the rest of it, they're in hard times over there.
Well, actually, I spent, writing my most recent book, Leaving Earth, I spent a month in Moscow, interviewing a lot of people,
Yes.
and talking to a lot of engineers, a lot of cosmonauts, a lot of scientists involved in the program of the Soviet days today. And actually, it's not hard enough. That's a boom town right now. They're really, things are really straightening out. It's taking them time, but they are really getting their act together.
Well, I think
Part of it is-
ultimately they'll be fine.
Well, I think they're actually doing very well right now.
Yes, but if you actually look at the amount of money for their gross national product that they devote to the maintenance of the ICBMs that, by the way, are pretty much aimed this way, you'll find it's appallingly short. And the condition of these rockets and ICBMs is appallingly old.
Part of the reason for that is that they refocus their energy.
No, yes, indeed.
They're not looking anymore at world domination. They simply want to make their own garden grow properly. So they're focusing their energies on trying to make a living
Yes.
and being productive and creative in their own way freely
Yes.
and using capitalism.
They will ultimately cease. They'll do it.
They're doing it right now. I really believe it. And I think their space program proves it because they're really trying to make a profit and they succeed.
They're making a profit.
Oh yeah, there's no question of that. I mean, for one thing, just the tourist industry today that they've tried to establish in space, that they have actually made $1 million on.
Well,
They have a whole range of customers in training right now to go up to the entire space
But I don't know
station.
how you balance this, Robert, because an awful lot of money was spent by the USSR on defense. I mean, enormous amounts of money. Some by percentage, so much more than we do, against GDP.
You mean then, yeah.
Yes.
And it went bankrupt. That's the part that went bad.
Yes.
I'm focusing on the space program, on what did work, and I think it's because they went to the, in this respect, their space program, their specific, trying to explore the universe, to bring their dream, their nation, their culture into space, and make it dominate space. Was a great thing. And that was them trying to do the best they could be. And in that respect, they succeeded.
Chinese are going for it too. Chinese are going for it too.
Japan just the last few days have announced they're reconsidering putting their own manned program together. The Indians have, India has signed an agreement with China, and they're planning to try to put a manned program in as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, the world is going to do this. It's a question of whether the United States wants to be part of it or not. And I think that it would be a very bad mistake if we chose not to be part of it. The question really is now, how do we become part of it? What's the best way to do that? And that's really the bottom line. And I think the discussion, I've been on several radio shows recently, and the host is telling me that their calls, the shit has shifted. They were expecting opposition. The same kind of question you raised, why do we get out of it? They said that wasn't the kind of calls they were getting. Instead they were getting a lot of arguments about how to do it, disagreeing with my ideas, which is okay, but a lot of argument about how should we do it. We have no choice, we have to do it because everyone else does it.
I don't think you get a lot of argument about wanting America to continue in space, not from this audience. You might get a few who would decry the expenditure when we see what's going on land around the world going on. But that's probably about as bad as it could get. This audience would tend to be pretty pro let's rock and roll up there.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing from my perspective because I've been on shows where the audience is very clearly hostile, what you think would be hostile to space. And that's one of the things I've noticed, that they're not arguing hostile to space as much anymore, they're just arguing about how to do it. And even within your audience, I think that we have to really think about this because, and we can now talk about George Bush's proposals about how to do it and what's good or bad about that.
Well, let's start with how seriously do you take what the president said?
Actually, it's not a question of how seriously I take it, it's a question of how realistic I think the proposal is.
Translate it to that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I break it down into several different parts. His proposal, I think, is just like we said at the beginning, the right idea. You have the courage, the brave, to do these great things. At least he's dreaming the right things. Let's go and do it. That's the courageous part of his plan. The smartest plan, very smart in a lot of ways, he decided to finally get the American manned program program focus on what it should be. It's not doing science and research in the International Space Station. It's not being a commercial hauling service for satellites. It's exploration. You're going to put people in space. It's to explore the solar system. And he's focusing on that now. So, for example, and this is really one of my themes in Leaving Earth, he's going to use the International Space Station the way it should be. Anytime you put human beings on a vessel in orbit around the Earth, at this stage of our technological development in space, you're really learning how to build planetary spaceships. So those space stations, I think that name is a misnomer. They are prototypes of planetary spaceships. And he wants to use the International Space Station for that kind of research and focus all the work on that, and that's very smart.
All right, hold it right there.
Very interesting because water
Water. Right.
interesting. And then they were scattered. There weren't a lot of rocks. It didn't have that jagged, crumbly look that rocks had. They looked solid. And then opportunity, it landed dead center inside a crater. You couldn't have done better. And the crater is interesting. Not only do you get a first bedrock, bedrock,
You get the layers.
the seam layers, cross-cutting layers into weaving joints, which implies much activity. But then you've got it's very dark, which means it has what they call hematite, which is a mineral which is produced in one of two different ways generally geologically. One either through water processes or through lava flow. And they don't know exactly what it is yet, but they're hoping it's from water. And that would tell them there was some information about the water history of
Odds are pretty good for water, aren't they?
there's no question that the odds are, if you were making a bet, you'd win, because there's water on Mars. There's no question that. I mean, there's lots of water in the poles. It's frozen. There's other areas in the planet where it's frozen. It's pretty, the spectroscopic work has been done by both Mars Odyssey and Mars Global Surveyor have both indicated that there are areas where there is frozen water on Earth. Pretty likely. Which means you could get underground, say, ice caves. You could get water flows in the caves. The temperature's very cold, but nonetheless you can get these things. So the water's there. The water tends to sublimate directly into a gas, so you don't get flowing water on the surface as far as we can tell anyone on the surface. But there is evidence that flowing water has existed recently within geological time and possibly recently within human history. Recently, in the next decades, might be. We don't have that fact, but it's possible.
You could be right with very rapid changes. Why, you just never know.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if something happens fast, it happens. You could take a picture of it a week after it happens, and you might not be able to tell it happened only a week ago. And there is evidence of what looks like water flows that could have happened 100,000 years ago.
You've been a pretty good student of the photograph so far.
I check every day.
Every day, okay. Have you seen anything yet that would suggest to you anything unrock-like?
You mean artificial?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no. And I say unfortunately, I'm speaking for every scientist at JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and every scientist at NASA who's involved in the project, and every scientist who dreams of winning a Nobel Prize. Because if they saw any artificial evidence at all, they would, if you thought they jumped up and down in joy when the thing landed, they would hit the ceiling in joy. This is, they would...
I have to agree with that. I
I mean,
think
that's
they would
desperate.
too.
Do you know how much money that would bring to them too? I mean, the enthusiasm, if we saw artificial evidence,
Yeah.
artificial structures there, if they could get a picture of that, my God, they'd be so happy they'd be on board, and I would be doing all of it. But unfortunately, no, they're not seeing anything like that. We're seeing geological formations, they're interesting, and there's some mysteries going on that are not explainable by Earth
But
geology.
nothing yet to suggest ever intelligent life, machines, tools,
No, not everything.
pottery. Nothing.
Exactly. I mean, I talked to Mike Mallon, who runs who basically owns the company that runs the camera on global surveyors in Albany, Mars, now for almost 60
Yes.
years taking pictures. And he told me, you know, when they took the close-up of the face, he really wished he'd seen a structure there, but it wasn't. It was amazing. And it was very strange nature. It definitely was geologically totally inexplicable by Earth processes. So wind, some form of wind and erosion was going on, but it was not like this in Earth. But he was really actually surprised. I wish it had been artificial. It wasn't. That's the unfortunate, you know, so no, unfortunately no, I haven't seen anything, and neither have they, and they wish they could.
All right.
Strange stuff though, I mean,
Okay, so then we're gonna come, excuse me, hold on, Rob, hold on. We're gonna come away from here. Do you believe we'll come away with absolute evidence that there was recent above ground water on Mars?
That's speculation. I don't know. You know, it's like asking some, you know, I can't really predict that. They're going to, I think, find evidence that there was. They're hopeful they'll find evidence of water. Everything they've looked at seems to indicate, and they've landed in places where they think heavy flows of water did occur based upon these orbital photos.
Okay, are there any tests coming up that will be a watershed moment in the cause of finding that out?
Yes, I mean, as they take as the rovers take samples, and when they say taking samples, they're basically just scraping the rock and then do spectroscopy of the scrape.
Yes.
They're going to start getting real solid data, and they'll be able to pin down whether the hematite minerals there were caused by lava flows or by water, and that'll be significant.
Okay, let's say, just for argument's sake, that there's water on Mars.
Okay.
Okay, what does that mean for what we might do?
Well, it's the same thing that applies to the moon. If the possibility that there's water on the moon applies to the same Mars, it gives us as colonists the resources we need to live there. It's like finding, being able to plant plants when you come to the New World. You have water produces, gives you oxygen, it gives you hydrogen, it gives you energy, and it also gives you water to drink.
Is there anything you've seen in the photographs from Mars yet that would make you want to move there?
Yes. I gotta tell you, looking at the,
What?
you know, it depends on what one likes about, I love the outdoors, I do cave exploration, I don't know if you're aware, and I love out hiking and stuff like that, and the southwest of the United States is one of the more beautiful places, Grand Canyon. Well, I've seen pictures from Global Surveyor of some of the canyons on Mars that are probably some of the most spectacular places in the world, in the solar system to hike.
Okay.
And I would love to go there.
All right.
I mean, obviously, it's going to take a great deal of technology to make it livable.
It does look like a hiker's paradise, I'll give you that.
Oh, without question. And in some way, you know, obviously, it's a very hostile environment right now. Less hostile in many ways than the moon, but nonetheless extremely hostile. You know, you talk about temperatures that are very rarely above like minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's very cold, and you have very little atmosphere. There's no water in the atmosphere compared to the Earth. It's a dry, desert-like environment. But still, I mean, yes, there are places where
Wouldn't some of that take the edge off your hiking?
technology is, you know, we're two varying species. You come up with a solution, and you solve it, and then boom, go do it.
Yes.
I mean, I've done cave exploration.
You actually would, just for the sake of asking you this, you would do what you would have to do to move to Mars. I mean, given the opportunity, you're going to go to Mars and you're going to live in the following circumstances, and there it is. It's pretty Spartan, but you can do it. But you can't come back.
For the chance to go where no one has ever gone before, many Americans would take that choice.
You really think so?
Oh, without question. You ask that question to audiences, and routinely, a large percentage of the audience, not everyone, raise their hand to the I'd go. People are willing to take one.
I don't know about that.
Obviously, when we're going finally, we're going to have the knowledge on how to do it, and that's getting back to Bush's proposal, how to learn how to do that. Once we go, we'll have the skills to make it possible to do it with some reasonable comfort and practicality.
Well, maybe some of my audience will comment on whether they've actually moved to Mars. I'd love to hear those answers. Listen, the Hubble Space Telescope, did it take the last of the good pictures that you could get out there? I mean, now we're going to abandon the Hubble, right? And did we get all the shots we wanted?
This is one of the great fallacies. I've been upset about Hubble getting abandoned now for about 7 years. Because the scientific community, I think they're kind of hypocritical right now, the scientific community made a decision in 1996 that after the 2004 repair mission, which was the one that got canceled, they were going to abandon Hubble. They were going to just basically let it die. They were no more make it. They made that decision themselves.
Well, my question was, have we taken enough pictures?
The maintenance mission wasn't that significant a difference to Hubble space. It's going to now be in orbit until it fails.
Well, all right. My initial question remains: have we taken all the good pictures there are to take?
No, of course not. Hubble's still operating, and it'll still continue to operate until something goes badly wrong, and they'll try to keep it alive as long as they can. It'll probably get a minimum. Something will go wrong tomorrow, but if things continue to operate as they have been, it'll probably get anywhere from 3 to 5 more years of operation. It may be, things go bad, it can fail in 2 weeks, but they're hoping for 3 to 5 more years. They'll keep using it every minute because it was an incredible facility. I would prefer next year. But one of the consequences of the Columbia accident and the Columbia investigation is that they do, and this is one of the other solutions they've come up with to try to make the shuttle so safe nothing can ever go wrong, unrealistically I think, is that no mission should go into an orbit that is an orbit you cannot dock with the International Space Station. You have to be able to dock with the International Space Station if you're going to go into orbit, so that you have a place to stay in case something goes wrong. Well, Hubble's not in that kind of orbit, so you can't go to Hubble without breaking one of the criteria of the Columbia investigation to make the shuttle safe.
I've got you. And therefore, Hubble will eventually be allowed to die.
Yes, that's right. At this stage, now there's talk at NASA, I spoke to some people at Goddard, and there is talk in the NASA circles about making a robot mission to get up there and maybe boost its orbit and keep it around for a while, and then have a controlled re-entry when the time came finally. But, I think that's really high in the sky for a lot of reasons, one of which it requires a robot docking. And there's only one nation in the world that's successfully done that, and that's Russia. We haven't. We've always done it manned controlled docking. So us suddenly coming up with a robot that can do a manned docking, an unmanned docking like this, I think it's just being unrealistic.
All right.
And I don't think it'll happen.
All right. You have written of the Apollo 8 mission.
Yes, my first book was called Genesis, the story of Apollo 8, and I thought that...
Can you give us a highlighted capsule version of Apollo 8?
I wrote that book because I felt that mission, which had become forgotten in between decades with the landing, I thought that mission was actually the most important Apollo mission. And if you talk to a lot of astronauts, they say the same thing. They think that's the most important mission, both historically, culturally, and in terms of winning the space race.
Why?
It was the mission that actually did win the race to the moon because the Soviets were trying to get to the moon up until that mission. As soon as that mission happened, they canceled all plans. So we won the race with that mission. It happened at the end of 1968, which in many ways was one of the more significant historical years in the United States for the last half of the 20th century. That was the year of Martin Luther King's death, Kennedy's death, riots, the Democratic Convention, riots. it was a very significant year.
The entire world, the whole world,
That year.
the whole world changed in
Yes,
that year.
absolutely.
Yes.
And the end of that year was the Apollo 8 mission, which is the first time human beings actually went somewhere in a spacecraft. They were going to another world, and they did it Christmas week, and they got into lunar orbit on Christmas Eve, and from lunar orbit, they read from the Bible on Christmas Eve to the world. And why they did that, I thought was really, I want to find out why they did that. And it was, I think, a very old-fashioned American attempt to express their goodwill to everyone else and why they chose what they chose to read. And then the images that they took of the moon was that dark star, almost skull-like landscape.
Yes.
I think shook up the world and the United States especially in terms of exploration, because it made us kind of like almost afraid of exploration again, because it didn't look like a very inviting place. And I think that shook us up. It also made us, they took the first Earthrise picture, the first time human beings saw the Earth rise above the horizon of another world. And it's ironic that it didn't really, to them, their eyes, it didn't rise above the horizon. It actually came out from right to left, because they were orbiting a planet world. They were on the surface of the planet.
Robert, wouldn't you think that of the first men who would go and leave Earth, actually, and go to the moon, that there would be some moments of intense reflection and going right down to your very roots and thinking about all the cosmic questions we don't consider much of the time? I mean, it would force you into that kind of thing, wouldn't it?
Well, you know, it's interesting if you consider the reactions of the three men that went on Apollo 8. The captain, the commander, Frank Borman, he's an action-oriented type of guy, and to him, his response to that mission wasn't spiritual. It was mostly his family. He realized the risks involved were too much. It was causing too much turmoil with his wife, and he felt his family was more important. And that's why he retired after that mission. And Jim Lovell, I asked him, and Jim Lovell is famous for Apollo 13. He was the commander of that mission.
Yes.
And what we don't realize is that he was also on Apollo 8. Had the same thing happened on Apollo 8 that happened to him on Apollo 13, he would have been dead in 60 minutes. It was a much more risky mission, Apollo 8. They actually thought they had about a 50% chance of failure. It didn't have the lunar module, so if something had gone wrong as they left orbit, they could not have survived.
Were they told a 50% chance of...
That's right. That shocked me too. Everyone in NASA believed it was about a 50-50 chance of success.
Wow.
They went anyway.
Wow.
Their wives told them they had to go. They all asked their wives, and they said, hey, you got to do this. This is for the nation, for the world. Now, in retrospect, we now know the odds were probably better, because the Apollo system is a really good system. But nonetheless, it's very risky. Jim Lovell told me, to him, God is, there's the spiritual stuff, but to him, God, it doesn't matter if you go to the moon or go to Earth. He's everywhere. It's going to be the same. He really didn't change spiritually. He just felt, I wanted to go to space. Like, he wanted to be a spaceman, to explore.
Did you find that to be
He did.
generally true also of the others?
Well, that was Borman. This is Lovell. The third guy, Bill Anders, he did change. He was a very devout Catholic before he went on his mission. And he told me about one moment in particular on the mission, in which he was listening, and he had given the ground, mission control, a whole bunch of tapes, audio tapes, music to play for the astronauts in the capsule. So they type up music for these guys. And some of it was Herb Albert and Tijuana Brass, but he also gave a whole bunch of Christmas carols to play as well, because he was a Catholic, it was Christmas week, and all three guys would like to hear that. It makes them feel good, makes them feel like they're home. And at one point, it was playing a Christmas carol, like a Hallelujah chorus, and the spacecraft, he himself they were turning the spacecraft, changing its orientation. So in the process of doing that, the communication signal got weakened, and it sounded like you take a record and slow it down.
Yes.
And Anders told me it was like, he didn't realize at first what was happening. It was like the world was ending. And he came back from that mission saying he's not that he isn't religious anymore, but he doesn't believe in any particular religion. Religion says human beings are like ants on a log. How can any particular religion know what the right way to practice right and wrong is? And he was very changed by that mission. His wife told me, I've never seen a person change. in terms of his philosophy of life. And he's still a decent guy. He's, you know,
No, that's incredible.
very good.
Incredible. Hold it right there. I want to do more on this when we get back. Sort of the stories behind the stories about what actually happened to the astronauts as a result of their experience. I don't know, think about it yourself. You see the Earth shrinking behind you until finally it's eclipsed by... International callers may recharge by calling your in-country Sprint access number, pressing option 5, and dialing toll-free 800-893-0903. From coast to coast and worldwide on the internet, this is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. You know, maybe man is not meant to be in space at all. Some suggest that. Not meant to be in space at all. It's a hostile accident waiting to happen. And it actually does seem like that's exactly what it is. By the way, Robert, Ron from Vancouver, Canada, sent me on the computer. I did this. Move to Mars? Can't ever come back? Do I get 14 virgins? No, Ron, you don't. Now, just thought I'd toss that in. We were actually in the middle of a pretty serious discussion about change in astronauts. And it leads me to ask you about why so many astronauts have, after their experience, had such stress manifesting itself in various ways beyond the norm, one would think.
Well, it depends. I mean, the Apollo astronauts, per se, they actually didn't have a great deal of stress. I think it's exaggerated. I mean, you had situations where some of them, the landers, went through some life change. Jacob Mitchell was another one that went through life change.
He sure did.
Yes. But more than not, these are really down to earth. They're jet pilots in the Apollo program.
Still by
straightforward guys.
Yeah, but others had, it did manifest in a number of ways.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'm not sure the marital difficulties actually are a reflection of the space program as much as it was a change in our culture. Because the Apollo 8 division, that's an interesting one in that respect too. It's the only Apollo crew which all 3 men are still married to the same wife, all of whom were high school sweethearts. And that's an unusual thing. All the program, all the astronauts had that problem. I think that's more a reflection of our society than anything else. I'm not sure it was the space program. What is interesting, and I learned this in my third book, Leaving Earth, is discussing We are a tool-making animal. We figure out how to solve the problem and then solve it. And in truth, the Russian program over many years has figured out how to solve most of these problems. Some of those problems, by the way, were solved by us in our first space station, Skylab, and then we kind of forgot the solution.
By the way, have the Russians shared all of the really important biological information, physiological readings and information from their very long missions with us? Is that totally shared now?
The data is mostly shared. Yes, you pretty much can find out what they've learned. You look at who's asked them, and there's a lot of it's been published. What they don't share completely, and I don't blame them in this respect, is they won't share with us completely the solution. They'll tell, like, for example, I spent 3 days interviewing the Larry Polyakov. He has the present-day record for the longest space flight. He was 14.5 months in space. He's also a doctor, and he focused his whole life on space medicine. He wanted to prove that it would be possible to go spend like 10 months in weightlessness and then immediately be able to work when you got to Mars. You can't just simply be helped around when you get to Mars like they do when they come back from long missions in orbit.
Sure.
You gotta be able to get there and stuff with samples and walk around. And he wanted to prove you could do that. And I spoke to him for 3 days, and he told me pretty much everything, all the results, how much bone he lost, so bone density he lost, that, how he solved his medical problems. But he told me very bluntly, we have figured out that exercise will reduce the bone loss problem, exercise can reduce the muscle deterioration. We figured this out, but I'm not going to tell you the specific exercise. That's where I get paid my money. You want to get that information? I consult with NASA and tell them, but they got paid. And I think that was just fine. I have no problem with that. And he wasn't using what I'm saying like secret. He's saying, where's the moolah? And I think that's a very fair, that's a very capitalist approach. And I think it's perfectly reasonable. But they're very willing to tell you what the results were. There's no question that. In fact, they want you to know because they want to show how their research has produced results to teach us things.
So then we've only become partners until it gets to the dollar.
Oh, without question. If we wanted to be communists and give us everything for free because we're all in this cooperative socialist endeavor, they, however, are capitalists. This is very perverse in my mind. It's like we trade places. They say no. Give us the bucks and we'll provide you the stuff. We'll sell our services. And I think actually they're right.
Well, I certainly recall when somebody bid to get on, the Russians sold a seat on at the International Space Station. The United States got all out of joint. NASA got out of joint. Everybody got out of joint.
I think it was appalling, actually. Here was Dennis Tito, a free American. He's earned his money legally. He has the cash. He wants to go into space. He has the cash. He's going to buy a ticket. He's in physical shape. He can do it. The Russians have the capability and the training. They've been putting up foreign astronauts in their space stations now for more than 30 years.
Yeah.
They know how to do it. And they're willing to sell us a ticket. I think that's a perfectly free, for enterprise, liberty-oriented approach to things. And who's the ones to object? We do. And Americans even asking the question, if space tourism should be allowed, are we free? Freedom says it's not my place to tell what's allowed. If he wants to do it, he should do it. And I thought it was very fun. And that's another theme of leaving Earth, this strange transition between the United States and Russia, like the two ships passing in the night, and they become us and we become them. It's very sad. I'm ashamed of my country.
I've been trying to figure out where our objection was, and I still haven't. I really haven't. What inner part of America objected to that? Was
Well,
it?
I'll tell you, it's very strange, but
I mean, that grows
I push the same thing. Americans today seem to want everything to be commands from above. I was on a radio show the other day, and I get one call that says, no, the government should run our space program. No one else can do it. And another call that says, no, the government should do it. We should have a corporate board dictating it. And my answer was no. Well, we should have, the citizens should do it, and no one should tell them how to do it. But people seem to want it to be centralized from the top. It's very sad. It's very strange. I find it very baffling. We're supposed to be freedom-oriented and citizens choose. Instead, we want a centralized bureaucracy. It's really strange.
Of all the people you know, and I know a few myself, Robert, who are planning private enterprise missions in space, and I mean completely private sector here. We're talking hotels, things across that line. So if they didn't want to see Tito up there bounding around, how are they going to feel about a 5-star hotel?
I think right now that's where we started to talk about Bush's proposal, and I think that's the one area of his proposal that is the biggest failure of his proposal. He basically did, the problem, Columbia accident and the Columbia Investigation Board's results clearly showed that the American space program needed to be shaken clean house. Rethink how we do things. Not so much to come up with a new project, but to rethink how we do things. And that's what Bush failed to do. He basically went with the status quo. He asked NASA what should be done. NASA told him what they would like to do, and he decided to say, okay, we'll have NASA do it. And he's not going to give NASA very much money to do it. And being a government agency, they're going to need 5 times as much money as any private company. And so, unfortunately, it's one of the weaknesses of that proposal. We need to shake up how we do our space program. When you talk about the private, I'll use the X Prize.
Robert, isn't funding for this way down the line? Isn't it one of those things where you get to announce the beginning of it, sort of a token little amount toward it, but the real bill is going to be paid by another president?
Which means it won't get paid. I'll use the International Space Station as an example. Reagan proposed that around 84, I think it was. I always confused. 84, 86. It was 84. But they did the same thing. It was a very small budget to begin with. So they basically spent the next 10 years doing blueprints. And after, you wanted it built by 1990. When 1990 rolled around, they were going to build it for $8 billion. They had spent almost $4 billion in only doing blueprints. Because they stretched the money out. And they hadn't built it. The only reason that the space station ever got launched at all is because Clinton forced it through as a foreign policy initiative. And that's the only reason it got built. He wanted that foreign policy project with the Russians. He wasn't interested in space exploration. He wanted a foreign policy project.
How much does the president's announcement change the mission of the space station?
Well, it changes it drastically. It finally gives it its proper focus. I mean, I mentioned Polyakov, 14 and a half months in space, but the Russians learned over time, what we started to learn from Skylab and then dropped the ball, is that you're going to travel long distance in space, you have to deal with the problems that weightlessness causes on the human body.
Right.
In addition, you have to learn the engineering involved for building the spaceship that'll get you there. And that just doesn't mean making the air system recyclable or the water recyclable, both of which, by the way, the Russians are doing. But you also have to learn how to make the space station, the spaceship, repairable by the crew. And that's the Russians also learned on here. They figured out how to do that. We're learning how to do that on Skylab. And the trouble with the International Space Station up to now is we haven't taken that approach to view. So the engineering of the International Space Station doesn't allow repair very easily by the crew.
Well,
In fact, it's dependent on the ground.
what part of the president's articulated mission happens at the space station? What part
He
does it
wants to
play?
start focusing on medical research, which I think is smart. The engineering aspect of building spaceships to go to Mars, unfortunately, the International Space Station can't really do that because the design's already built. So it's going to be what it is. And unfortunately, the American path to that station is not built with that engineering project in mind. So it doesn't create a closed systems of air and water. It doesn't really provide facilities for a crew to live on a station for a long time very well. The Russian half, though, does those things because it's basically the Russian half is essentially their Mir 2, what they were going to build after Mir, and they're basically putting that up now. And they're making it a closed system, and they're not independent. They can separate it from their half. Their half would fall in the ocean, their half would function.
Now, that's something I didn't know. I really didn't know that. I mean, I had no idea. It's like there was a line drawn down the middle of the station. Their half and our half. That's really the way it is?
Yes.
You're kidding.
Absolutely true. The systems are very closely integrated, so they work together. So that both mission controls in both Moscow and the United States can operate.
Yes.
But no question, the two systems are independent. You can separate the two systems. And our system is not self-sufficient, so it depends on the Russian half.
So you're saying in a mission-critical situation the Russians could pull the big lever and separate the whole damn thing.
Not at this moment in time.